Hey, Jim Bergman here with MeasureQuick. Had a couple guys call today and ask about the 557, the Testo 557 integration, and I wanted to go over that with everybody and just show you how we have that set up, how it works. It's a little bit different than the Testo Smart Probes, but it still works really, really well. I'm going to go ahead and flip around the camera here, and you can see I've got a Testo 557 sitting here on the table, along with a handful of Testo Smart Probes on here, because we can actually use all this stuff together now. So I'm going to go through and show you how we have this set up in the app, and we'll go ahead and do that. So when you open up the MeasureQuick application, the first thing you want to do is go into your toolbox here and activate the Testo Smart Probes. You can see that mine are already activated, so I don't have to do that again. And then what I did here is I have the Testo Smart Probes up and running and mapped over, and then I also have in my home screen here the Testo 557 up and running here. So what this is going to allow us to do is send data from the Testo 557 app, the AC refrigeration app, and the Smart Probes app into MeasureQuick, so we can do analysis and reporting and things like that. So it's really quite simple, and I'm going to go in and just show you how to do that. I'm going to go to the home screen here, and sorry, I'm hitting the home button a little too slow and not double clicking onto it there. But let me just show you how this would work, and there's two steps we got to do. The bringing in data from the Testo 557 is a little bit different than the Testo Smart Probes, and probably because there's multiple groups at Testo that do different projects, and so it's just not quite as consistent as I'd like it to see, but it still works really, really good. So what you got to do is, if you want to bring in the pressure readings, pressure, suction line temperature, superheat, and subcooling, you double click, go into your refrigeration app. Down at the bottom there's that little up arrow, just hit that and hit share, and then share it with MeasureQuick, and the data will come right over and go right into the application. So now I can see all my pressures, temperatures, superheat, subcooling off the application. If I want to bring in my outdoor air or my indoor readings, now I just tap on the Measure application. You can see those things coming in from my Smart Probes, and again tap the now at the bottom here Testo JSON file, and that'll send it back into MeasureQuick. So the refrigeration app has a share button, and the Smart Probes has a Testo JSON file. That brings the data back in and allows us to do analysis and reporting. So let's go and let's set up a little project here, and I'll show you how we're going to generate that report. So from that project, we click System Test, create a new project, and you'll see that it's automatically named. We can put any project notes we want to here, and so we'll just put Testo Test in here and hit Submit, and you'll notice the check mark goes green. So that sort of tells us that that section has been complete. Job site information, you're going to drag and drop this over to the job site you're working on. That picks up the address and automatically numbers the site. You can change the numbering on the site if you want to. We're going to put in some customer information here, so I'll just use my name, Jim Bergman, and email address, jim@measurequick.com, and phone number, and then hit Submit. So now the customer data is filled in. So I hit Submit there, and now I got to do my job site information, my profile. This is a little bit different. I drag the pin over, drop it on the building, and then I'm going to mark the location of my equipment. So we can actually physically mark the rooftop unit we're working on, or if like these bushes down here were the actual condensers, we could drag that over and drop it literally right on top of a bush to mark that as my condenser. So wherever your equipment is at that you're testing, that's what you're going to mark there, so we know exactly what system we were working on. And the system information, just for convenience sake, I'm going to make this thing a package unit, and we'll just call this window. And if we had models and serial numbers like a barcode of some kind, we could actually scan that barcode and bring it in. In this case here, I'm just going to do test and test. Barcodes are a little bit hit miss, because what happens is we don't know what the manufacturer's code in those barcode readings. So it could be a little bit of anything. Sometimes you got to edit them. I'd say 50% of the time I can pull in something off of a barcode, and 50% of the time I've got to do some minor editing. So it's not perfect, but it's not an app function as much as the way the manufacturers do that. If we want to take a photo, we can just hit Take Photo and take a photo of the models or serial numbers. We can do that. We'll hit Use Photo, and then that photo is stored in with the report. System profile. So here we got to tell it what our tonnage is. So I'm just going to say it's a standard 1-ton unit, 13 to 16 here. Although this is a capillary tube, so we'll go ahead and change that. So it'll calculate the superheat automatically and give us a target for subcooling. Then we're going to just hit, if we have extended performance ratings, you could enter in that data here. Not necessary if you don't have it. Then hit submit, and the profile's done. Electrical information, this is a single phase. It's 110 volt, evaporator fan single phase, 115 volt, and it's a PSC type motor, so we'll go ahead and submit there. Now all the profile, everything we want to know about that unit is all filled out and ready to go. So now all we got to do is take our measurements, and we can view each one of these by tapping the view key, so I can see that I have all my data coming in, what's from the Testo probes. My outdoor air temp of 74 was input manually, right? I put that in by hand, so if I tap on that, you can see I'll just change it to 73. We can have manual data. We can identify if it came from a Testo probe, or we can identify if it came from another tool. Hit submit. My indoor measurements are all here. If I had to off my manometer, maybe put in a static pressure, I can put those in. So I'll just put those in at 0.3, and we'll put the return in at 0.7, and it'll automatically calculate my total external. I'll hit submit. Then I want to put in my electrical measurements. So 121. This unit's drawn 7 amps, 121, and the condenser fan's drawn about 0.7 amps. It's a little, fractional horsepower PSC motor. I'll hit submit on that. And then performance calculations, you can see all my performance calculations here, but let's go in and get some fresh data off this. So again, we're on the house here. So I want to pull in my measurements off my smart probes. I'll click that. Click up the up arrow there, Testo JSON file. That's going to bring in the most current data, so all that data is good. Go to the outdoor readings. Now here's where I got to double click. Go to my refrigeration app, hit the up arrow, and hit share, and that'll bring in my readings off my gauge set. Now at this point, you can see I have some diagnostics here. I can see my liquid lines below the outdoor air temperature. That's because this thing has a little slinger in the condenser throwing water that we're condensing into the fan blade. Could be overcharged with the refrigerant. 4 symptoms of that, 4 symptoms of low airflow, and there could be a restriction on the liquid line. Any one of these we tap, it'll tell you what to do. So in this case, recover the excess refrigerant. And if we go back and look at this, you can see obviously we got high subcooling, we got high subcooling and low superheat. So it is in fact a little bit overcharged on there. And if we corrected that, then the problem would go away. Now at this point, I can go back into my project, and we'll hit the back button here. And literally at this point, all I got to do now is save the data. So when I save the data and I exit the project, now that goes into my results tab down at the bottom. So when I tap on results, you can see that it pulled up the current test results. Tap on the snapshot that I want to share, hit the share button, export as PDF, and now I can see on that PDF everything that came off the Testo smart probes, everything that was calculated, everything that was input by hand. I can see that my actual capacity, we're doing about 109% of our rated capacity, but it's because we're humid as heck in here in the office today, and we got 143% of our latent load. So we're basically overloading the coil a little bit with moisture. Common thing that can happen. The system stability is undetermined because this came in as a snapshot, not as live streaming data, but it at least gets us all the information that we want to know. So you can take this report now and hit the share button. We'll go to mail here, and I'll just shoot this to myself. Jim at MeasureQuick.com, hit send, and in a couple seconds here, that's in my inbox and good to go. So that's how you do a Testo 557 and smart probes combination. It's really, really slick because it allows you to use both products now. You get expanded out product line here. The 557 really didn't have a way of doing that elegantly, and now we got all the calculations. You get the automatic airflow calculations. You get all the diagnostics and things you guys have been looking for, and it really, really works great with a 557. It's as you can see, it's real easy to use, and it does the job. So one thing I do want to point out here is that a lot of guys are concerned that it's not trending and it's not not live data coming in. Well, when you evaluate a system, regardless, right? We have to evaluate things off of a snapshot of data. So the fact that it's moving around or things like that, it may be neat to see, but it really doesn't, when we analyze it, we're analyzing it at a point in time anyway. So the fact that it's not streaming it's, you know, I would prefer streaming data myself too. I'm not going to lie to you, but the fact that it's not streaming doesn't hurt anything as far as diagnostics or reporting or any of the features or any of the benefits of using the Testo's smart probes and the 557 along with the MeasureQuick application. You still get all of the data that you guys want and you need to actually perform the job. The nice thing is, we can just switch between applications. So if we want to see a trend of our superheater or subcooling, we can still do that within the Testo 557 app. If we want to go in and look at what's happening with our smart probes and look at a table there, we can look at that, or a trend, we can look at that. So it is a little bit of clicking around in there, but it's and overall I think it's a fairly easy process and a ton of benefit added to the bottom line. So if you got any questions or comments, please let us know. But I thought some of you guys would enjoy seeing this because you've been asking about it. So see how it works and enjoy. This is Jim Bergman for MeasureQuick. Thanks a lot for watching.